Society has drastically changed during the last 1.5 years, and the world of technology will continue to change significantly in the coming days. Join me as we talk about the various common technologies that were usually taken for granted but rose to prominence during the recent pandemic, right here on our very first episode of Genuinely Trending Tech. Hey everyone, Romar here, and for today's episode, we will be talking about the various technologies that has helped shape our world during the pandemic. And these technologies are have become prevalent today, and we did not foresee that they'll become uh, popular and widely adopted uh, in the current situation that we are in. We all know, everybody knows that it's been what, a year and a half already that most of the world has been in quarantine with all the several lockdowns and all that. So what happened is that a lot of businesses had to shift to an on a hugely online presence, right? Wherein most of the companies used to be working together in the same building, in the same location, the same area. And now, uh, companies who did not who do not support telecommuting before or working from home are now open to the idea of letting workers work from home, right? And a lot of these technologies made it happen not only for companies but also for schools and other businesses as well. So we'll be talking about five major technology categories that have become prevalent and have become widely used by mainstream businesses and schools as we survive, as we go along, uh, and go on with our daily lives during the pandemic. All right. So the first technology that we will be talking about is, of course, uh, fairly common and fairly popular with a lot of people. Uh, the first technology family of technologies that have been widely adopted by people, uh, most especially during the pandemic, is, of course, the use of video conferencing and streaming. Although uh, pre-pandemic, streaming has been really popular with a lot of people, especially the young ones. We're talking about YouTube. We're talking about Netflix and other streaming services. But aside from that, uh, other uh, video conferencing technologies have come to the fray, right? And they've increased, probably not only just double but probably fivefold or tenfold already compared to their previous data. Uh, so we're talking about Zoom, we're talking about a Google Meeting, we're talking about Skype, and newcomers to the streaming game. Uh, there's Streamyard. Of course, there's been a huge adoption right now of OBS and also of TikTok. So they've been ramping up the adoption and utilization of these services have gone way up, and they've become really popular recently. All right. The next technology actually that have become really popular, not only among corporate users but also with schools, and this second technology family is actually called it's called the learning management systems. Previously, a lot of schools haven't really thought of going online wholesale. A lot of them uh, may have initiatives of having an online class or holding online classes, but they practically put it aside for some reason. They didn't really uh, get into learning management systems wholesale, probably because they don't see the need for it at that time. But as when 2020 came and went, and the pandemic struck, they had to they had to support it. They have to jump, right? Or else their school will tank, right? So a lot of these learning management systems have been in existence for several years already, and uh, it's been widely used in the tech industry already. We're talking about one of the most popular learning management systems that has been in existence for years and years, right? One is Moodle, and it's been what, uh, more than 10 years in existence. Uh, another, of course, might not be a full fledged. This is not really a full fledged learning management system, but this is a classroom management application, and this is from Google. Google Classroom is actually quite popular as well, and they have also seen spike in utilization. People using Google Classroom as well. Another fairly popular and widely known among the open source community. This learning management system has been in existence also for several years. It This one is called Open edX, so it's been in existence for several years also. No? But when the pandemic struck, people have been looking into it as well, and using them for their schools, and using them for their online classes as well. Another is also not really that popular, but it's also fairly well known, and also created by a well known company. And we're talking about Adobe Captivate. So that's one. Here in the Philippines, there's one there's one learning management system called Quipper, and they've been also getting nod from a lot of schools here as well in the Philippines. Uh, my daughter's school is using Quipper actually. They've been using it since last year, and of course, the other online learning services have ramped up also utilization, and we're talking about the incumbents like Coursera, Udacity, Udemy, and others. When the pandemic struck, uh, way back 2020 and until today, learning management systems have been seeing a lot of increase in utilization and usage as well. So a lot of people have, you know, while they're in quarantine, they have not, they have nowhere to go, so they go online, right? So they go and browse and learn, and do what they can while they're cooped up in their homes. But yes, so that's the second technology that I've seen a lot of utilization and growth. So that's the learning management systems. The second technology family actually that have seen a huge, phenomenally huge jump in utilization and adoption by mainstream is in terms of e-commerce, right? So we're talking here in the Philippines mostly. We're talking about Lazada. We're talking about Shopee, Zalora. These three actually have been seeing a huge, huge jump in utilization, wherein people, while in quarantine, uh, have nowhere else to go when it comes to getting their necessities, where they can buy their necessities. So they have to go online, and these three are actually quite big also. And aside from that, several uh, major malls here in the Philippines, and major stores, fast food chains have also ramped up, getting their own or having their own e-commerce applications as well. So we're talking about Jollibee, McDonald's, and others, right? So they've been improving, they've been vastly improving and pouring resources into improving their existing mobile applications and web applications and make sure that they are able to cater to the surge of people who have gone online and been buying their products online as well. And of course, we've been seeing new improvements, and we here, especially here in the Philippines, we've been seeing uh, newcomers as well. Amazon is already here in the Philippines, and if I'm not mistaken, they're also gonna be putting up their they have an office already in Manila right now, and hopefully soon they'll be able to support the Philippines when it comes to Amazon Prime, and Alibaba is also supporting the Philippines as well. Unfortunately, Alibaba is going to be shipping from China also. But yes, during the pandemic, e-commerce has been growing exponentially since 2020. Another technology that has been enjoying phenomenal growth during the pandemic from 2020 onwards, right? We're talking about contactless and digital payment. So here in the Philippines, we actually have several being supported, and these are local incumbents actually. Uh, these are we're talking about PayMaya, which is from the Manny Pangilinan group of companies. PayMaya is a sister company of PLDT and Smart, and another contactless and digital payment platform is GCash, which, by the way, is from Globe Telecoms, of under the Ayala company, and also another payment platform is DragonPay, and another is PayMongo. So these are local contactless and digital payment platforms. So they've been enjoying phenomenal adoption as well during the pandemic. And of course, we have known uh, international payment platforms as well, who have already been establishing existence here in the Philippines and support us as well. So we're talking about the ever popular PayPal, and of course, China's Alipay is here actually, and of course, Shopify is also here. Uh, so it's been a fairly good mix of local and international payment platforms uh, establishing a foothold in the Philippines, and also enjoying a fairly phenomenal and fairly huge adoption, most especially during the pandemic. And of course, the last technology that have been enjoying huge growth when the pandemic struck is, of course, cloud services. Cloud services. These guys have definitely seen a huge surge in adoption, not only from huge enterprises and companies, but also from smaller ones like small and medium enterprise companies. So we're talking about Amazon's AWS. We're talking about Microsoft Azure, DigitalOcean, Google Cloud Platform, of course, and definitely, of course, Alibaba. And there's a newcomer, Huawei Cloud, is also has also entered the marketplace, and they're also seeing some fairly good numbers during the pandemic as well. How come cloud services have been growing? It's because a lot of companies need to support their ever growing mobile workforce, right? Um, uh, this is primarily because of um, compliance with the required minimum health and safety protocols. So normally, offices that used to be who are offices which are fully packed before had to be reorganized to make sure that social distancing is being implemented within the workplace. So what happens is that those workers who has the capability to go and work from home or work somewhere else or be mobile are allowed to do so, right? But in order for companies also to be able to support those growing numbers of mobile workers, they will need to make sure that their internal systems are either reachable from the internet side, or they will have to migrate all of those systems outside and put them onto the public cloud. So from on-premises systems, they migrate it into um, cloud-based systems. So those are some of the things that a lot of companies and also a lot of schools had to pour resource in and make sure that they get a good balance of in-house uh, in-house resources and supplement them also with resources that are hosted on the public cloud. So these are the five so far that we have seen that have been enjoying phenomenal growth despite the pandemic since last year, 2020, and until now, 2021, and we don't see their growth to be slowing down, and these growth that they've been enjoying right now are just gonna increase. They're just gonna increase some more because the, we're still in a pandemic right now, right? So uh, we still have to continue. We still have to continue supporting mobile workers and continue to basically. We don't see it. We don't see it gonna. We don't see it changing actually anymore. And whatever it is that are in place right now for e-commerce, for digital contactless and digital payments, cloud services, these things are gonna here to stay. They're gonna be permanent fixtures already in our daily lives as we use the internet, as we use our mobile phones, as we transact and purchase anything online. These are all gonna be staying, including uh, online learning and distance education. So probably the pandemic right now is just a catalyst to hasten the adoption of these various technologies that has been in use actually for several years and have been in existence for several years. But their adoption previously were really quite slow, snail pace, but they're already here. These tools are actually already very mature, but the pandemic has just given it given it the added push so that society will adopt these technologies already. And we definitely bet that these technologies are gonna be here to stay and gonna be permanently etched in our lives forever as we use the internet moving forward. Our featured technology for today is called the VPN. The VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, which is actually a specialized service that allows users to establish a protected network connection while using an insecure public network. So if you do not really trust your home computer or you don't trust your service provider, you can actually just install a VPN service, and voila, your connection is already secure. VPNs actually encrypt or secure your internet traffic and disguise your online identity. All right. So how significant are VPNs? VPNs also allow you to connect to geographically locked areas of the internet. So for example, a certain TV show on Netflix are only available in Japan and unavailable in the Philippines. A user in the Philippines can actually use a VPN and connect via a VPN gateway in Japan and appear as though the user from the Philippines is browsing in Japan. As for available VPN services that you can take advantage of, there are a lot of these out there on the internet. We're talking about Express VPN. There's Proton VPN. There's also NordVPN, and Mozilla actually has its own uh, VPN service that is upcoming as well. They've already launched this in the US, but it's not yet available here in the Philippines. This is called the Firefox Private Network, and it's a VPN service coming from Mozilla. So hopefully we'll be able to uh, see these services going to be much more prevalent as well in the coming days and in the coming months as well. So that's our feature tech for today. That's the virtual private network, or the VPN. While we continue to live our daily lives while in quarantine, so too is our dependence on technology as we continue to look forward to what's beyond the pandemic. Join me next time as we continue to look for more exciting things on the lookout for genuinely trending tech. If you're looking forward to more content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.